Hi,
Hello.
how are we?
I'm good. We're good
We're good, we're good.
on this rainy day.
It is a rainy day. So, welcome to the fuckery that is April.
I
Let's
know.
let's get
Let's
to
see
it.
what April has got for us. Oh my God.
Do you want to go or?
Yeah, we can. Well, we're going to choose a card.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
we'll choose a card to see
Choose a card.
see what's going to happen for the episode, let alone for April.
That's
Yes.
right. God
So,
damn.
and we are the tarot dealers. We're just
Yeah.
jumping straight in. We're the tarot dealers. Lou and I'm Tren.
Excellent. Welcome to our space.
Yeah, so we're going to do the energy for April, see what is coming up, what we need to be aware of, or what we need to focus on, because I think April's going to be a big month. It's going to be a big month. And we were just talking before we press record. It's like it's the Aries season, it's the start of the astrological new year, isn't it? So it's the
That's
start
right,
of all
yeah.
everything new, or well, quite literally, new things
Yeah, new things, new reinventions, depending on where Aries is
in your chart.
in your chart, of course. But yeah, basically lots
Yeah.
of new things, reinventions, diving deep into all these different areas. Anyway, we'll
Yeah,
see
we'll
what
see
comes
what
out
comes
the
out.
cards.
Yes.
But I'll just draw a card for the episode, and I'm using the Dragon Tarot.
Yes. So yes, we're going to see what we need to know for the episode, what we need to be aware of, or what we need to focus on.
Focus.
Focus, we can't focus. We're not focusing. What we need to be aware of. We have the Three of Wands.
All
Three of
right.
Wands.
So it's going to be about looking at the bigger picture.
So look at this beautiful card. It's the Three of Wands in the Dragon Tarot. Quite literally looking out, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Looking out and
Seeing what
seeing
ships are
what's
being
what we
returned,
yeah.
right?
And then where can we go from here?
Yeah, like what's literally the landscape, assessing everything,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And what I'm looking at is the dragon, but he's on top. So it's very much we're on top of things and we're just looking and seeing what's coming in.
Yeah, we've got different view, don't we?
Yeah, yeah. It's very much we have quite literally risen up, haven't we?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
We've risen up.
Absolutely.
It's quite a lovely card. It
It's a
really
beautiful card.
is.
I love the dragon deck, hey.
And it's like we always say, so we don't have to stick with the Rider Waite.
No, not at
You
all.
don't have to. Bring in other decks because you'll always get, because it's the light seers, you'll always get different interpretations, won't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, we did a thing about that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
You know, and even if you're reading for yourself, pick the dragon deck, but then also bring in the light seers and see what messages you get. I just put that off the top, so I'm not going to read it. But again, you know, you might get something completely different if you have three different decks. You'll get a completely different message which will be different if you just stick with one deck.
Yeah.
Because you're quite, and this is probably what we all should do. Mix it up. We will get used to these ones, won't we? We will get used to your working deck or the ones you always go to. And the messages might be the same. You're not stretching.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I find you can get in your comfort zone, or as you say, not stretch or have blind spots.
Yes.
Because you're so used to, oh yeah, that's
Oh yeah.
that.
Oh, you know what? So, oh yeah. I just pulled this off the top. If we say the Five of Swords in the Rider Waite, well, there's a bit of conflict. But that's our blind spot, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But if we picked the Three of Wands in the Dragon, that gives a completely different feel to the one in the Rider Waite, doesn't it?
Does completely different
feel. So that's what we're saying is mix it up a bit. Even like I said, if you're just reading for yourself, if you're pulling a card every day, and it's up to you, but just make sure it's a different card. It's a different deck.
Different deck,
a different deck. To stretch stretch your own message, but stretch your own intuition.
Absolutely. And you can still do the whole see, feel, know, trust method, right?
Yeah.
Which to me is the guts of everything.
Yeah.
That and the tells, right?
Yes.
Guts of everything. However, it does, like you said, it gives you that completely different message. So
completely different message. Completely. So now we will get into what the energy is going to be for April. I'll take a photo so you can actually see. I'll put it onto our social so you can actually see and have a look at the dragon deck.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
Gorgeous. So, and after that big spiel, I'm using the right of way.
And I'm going to use that too.
So let's see what we as a collective
Yeah,
need,
collective.
when this will be a collective reading. So again, and like I say at the beginning of each reading that I do, my big spiel, but you all have free will. Take what resonates and leave the rest behind.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of it may resonate and some won't. So don't get too tied up in that doesn't, because that's then squashing our own free will, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's squashing. I think we just did a episode on fate and free will, didn't we?
We did. We did.
So anyway, let's get back to the card.
Oh, just dropped half of mine.
Okay. Well, she goes fine. So cards. What I'm going to do is I will put out 4 rows of 4. So that'll be in a sense kind of week by week. So 4 cards for 4 rows. So let's see what we need to know for the month of April 2025 for the collective. Let's see. And it'll be interesting to see what comes out, as Lone said before, about the tells. And when we say tells, it's things that jump out at you. So kind of starting off well, aren't we?
We are indeed.
There's 2 there. So now I'm just looking, and just because I said about the tells, and I've only got 3 rows out at the moment, but it's very blue.
It is very blue and yellow.
And yellow. It's very blue and yellow, isn't it? So if we're just going to go off those colours, it could be that with the blue, and I always think associate colours with our chakras.
Chakras, yeah, absolutely.
So blue, we'll be using our voice more. We'll be expressing more. And with the yellow, it's our solar plexus. So it's that, who are we?
It is that who are we, that invention, that creativity.
Working out who we are, maybe leaving an old self behind and recreating a new self.
And interesting, because as Tren said right in the beginning, we're talking about Aries season, right?
Yes,
which is the beginning of the astrological chart. And here we are, beginning, and Aries is very much about self.
Yes.
So Aries is like I.
It is.
So
I am, isn't
I
it? I am.
In that space. Where am I in that? So interesting. Anyway, I'll let you do yours.
And looking at the other thing that's poking out for me is there's a lot of court cards. So this could be because you've got Queen and Page up here, you've got a Knight and Queen here, another Queen, Knight, King and Page.
Right.
So there's a lot of, so this could be quite a people month. You know, you could be dealing with a lot of people. You could be community. There might be a big sense of community, isn't there? Anyway,
interesting.
So that was just something that jumped out as they came out. There was a lot of court cards. So again, that's a tell. If there's a lot of court cards, it's a tell. So getting on to, so starting off with the 8 of Pentacles. So we could be just really just going through the motions in a sense. But when we going through the motions, it very much is, we are going through it to make it perfect or make it right. We're not doing anything half-hearted. Then we move on to the Queen of Swords and the Page of Wands. I'll read those together because, again, it comes back to that. To me, Queen of Swords is very much about being very direct and using your voice. Very much, this is what I want. And the Page of Wands, it's all about, and I've got this focus. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing. And I was going to say, oh, it's so funny. The last week is the World. Because I thought, oh, I wonder if that's the only Maybe Arcana. And then right at the end of the April, we have the Fool. So that's really interesting. So in the last week, even though we're saying what we need to say and we're walking the talk, aren't we? We're doing things. There may be some things that we're putting an end to. So letting things go. Like we said, creating a new self or getting rid of something that's been old. And then we move into the Knight of Swords. So things might start moving a little bit quicker. And we go the 9 of Cups. So it could be, we're starting to celebrate ourselves a little bit, celebrate our achievements of what we have done, and we're going to bring into the new. because we then move on to the Ace of Pentacles. So it's again that newness, isn't it? And this newness and that focus is just getting bigger and bigger. And then we move on to the Three of Cups. So it's a bit of a, oh, we're starting to celebrate again. So it ties in with that 9, we're starting to celebrate ourselves, but also bringing in a little bit of community, I think. Again, Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands. So we are moving from the page where we're just starting something right at the beginning of the month to halfway through the month. We've got the Queen of Wands, so we've really got a firm handle on what we are doing and where we are going. We move on to the Four of Cups, so it might be, okay, we just kind of need to process this a little bit and not do too much too quickly. We need to process what we've already gained. Because we've moved on to the 9. It's almost like we go up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
We've got the 9 of Wands here. So it's very much we need to really take the time to process with that 4, but also just take a step back. Just take a step back and just go, okay, I just need to not put up, well, yes, we always have to have our boundaries up, and that rain is getting really heavy, so you can really hear it. But not, yes, we have to put our boundaries up, but it's very much not. And again, I think this is my blind spot. I always look at that and go, I'm waiting for the other 2 to drop with that 9 of Wands. Yeah, and to me, that's a bit of a blind spot that I have. But maybe we are waiting. We've gone with great guns leading up here, and it's like, oh my goodness, do you think it's like things are going too well? Are we waiting for things to muck up? It's like waiting for that other 2 to drop. So, but then we go to the Queen of Pentacles. So it's like, no, we're looking after ourselves. We're taking the time. We've worked so hard on ourselves leading up to this middle of the month, or coming to the end of the month. It's now time to start using some self-care, isn't it? And if we can, get out into nature, ground ourselves. We've still got our focus, that big focus, but at the same time we need to look after ourselves. Then we move on to the 9 of Pentacles. So again, it's like we need, yes, the self-care, but it's also taking our time, slowing things down. Because it's been a busy month the first 2 to 3 weeks. Now it's time to slow down, work out where we've been, where we're going, because the Fool is right next to it. So we definitely are moving on to a brand new journey, one that we are creating, but still moving into that unknown. You know, we're putting all the steps in, trusting that we're going to be great. This new journey, this new chapter we're moving into, we're trusting. And we've got the King of Swords right beside it. It's funny, we've got the Queen of Swords up the top, and they've got the Queen King down here. So we really are finding a balance, aren't we? About when we need to be very direct and very straightforward to, okay, I'm opening to that. I still have to be direct and straightforward, but I'm open to that listening side as well. That communication is starting to be very important, realizing that sometimes it can't be all our own way.
Yeah.
With that Queen, it's all her way, but when we get to the King, it's like, yes, but we need to be a little bit logical and listen to others. And we end with the Page of Cups. So again, and with the page, right at the end, it's like this new chapter we're moving into. Be a bit curious. And again, because it's new, we don't have to do things the same way that we've always done them. Because we are changing. We're changing things up. We're being curious about this new chapter we're moving into and letting go of the old patterns and old behaviors and being more curious about where this is leading, where we are being guided.
Interesting,
So,
my friend.
We'll see hopefully what that brings. But it looks like, even though it might be a big month, it seems very much starting to be more self-aware. That's what it's, and with all those blues and yellows.
That's a really good point. All the blues and yellows.
Blues and yellows.
Yeah, I think you're really on the money there.
Yeah.
With that. And definitely new beginning, right? And starting with the 8 of Pentacles, to me, that's entering something new again.
Yeah.
It's like the new job or the new apprentice or the
Yeah.
new role, the new something that you're working on, or you're crafting.
Yes.
You know, so I definitely see that as starting new. And like you said, the world and the
world and the Fool.
they both like end that, start this. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's really interesting that the world is ending in the, like, if we're reading it like this, the first week,
yeah.
we end with the world, and the very last week, we start
Start
with the
with
fool.
Yeah,
So,
that makes sense. Let's see.
yeah, let's see, I'm gonna
Let's
take a
go.
photo of that, and then Lou will do her.
Yeah.
And we'll compare, see what comes out.
I'll just put mine on. Hang on.
Yep. Get that ready, so we'll take both.
So I'm going to lay mine the same way, which is 4 across.
Four
the
across
rows.
and 4 down. And it's interesting because, like, I only had the 2 major arcana in what, 16 cards. Just while Lou's laying that, I'm just going to say I had a reading through the week. Actually, I had 2 readings, and I always take note again if how many major arcana, because that's major turning points in our life. It's big picture things. My first lady had 9 major arcana in her reading, which was, oh, big. The very next lady had 10.
Wow.
There's only 22 major arcana, and you've got half of them.
Half of them on the deck. Wow, that's insane. That is insane. All right. So we're looking at the energy of April.
April.
And this, funny enough, starts with the moon. Now, we have the eclipse
Yes.
on the 29th of partial eclipse on the 29th of March. So it's almost like
It's
we're
leading
gonna
into
have
it.
it is definitely leading in. So I feel like we're gonna have a little bit of that energy still around.
We're swirling around for the first week or so, aren't we?
Well, from the moon.
For the moon.
Yeah, absolutely. Things might also pick up a little bit of speed is what I'm getting. And I too have a sword up here. So interesting. And there might be a little bit of push back. So whilst we need to maybe be more on our game, things are going to speed up for us a little bit. Also, the other thing that's just dropping in my head about this is with this first week of April is to be mindful of how you're actually speaking. Because like in Trends reading, we had all the blue for the throat chakra, right? And here, when I often see this Knight of Swords like that, it can be like feeling like one's attacked or one is attacking, and it's right beside the moon, right? So I'm like, yeah, just as we enter, be mindful of how you're communicating, right? Because this says that we're kind of putting people at the defense or that we're needing to defend, right? So be mindful of how you communicate. And all the cards are blue up here. So definitely be mindful of how you're communicating. Are you actually attacking somebody? Like, it's really interesting because Aries energy is, as we spoke about, very much about the self and the re-identification time, if you will, depending on which house it falls in, depending on which area it's working in. But overall, that to me is very much about saying, well, I want to say what I need to say, but I still feel, because energy, Aries is fire. So we want to be mindful of the heat in the arguments, right? So, and to me, this here is like spiky, sharp words. So be mindful, right? If you're in a rush, it doesn't mean that you need to communicate aggressively or sharply, right? So just be very mindful of that, because I can see a little bit of argy-bargy and pushing back. And if we choose to entertain the argy-bargy or to be sharp and pointed, then that's going to result in people being unavailable to us emotionally. That's what this is saying, right? Because the King of Cups here, he can be unavailable, but he also can be a very deep emotional man, right? But in this sense, because he's the way that he's positioned, he's looking away from the other 3 cards. So I'm seeing that as he's not engaging. So to me, that's the key. Do not engage in that sharp, pointed shit that may be going on in the first week. When I look at the second week, it's talking about a new energy coming in, because we have the Knight of Wands, which brings that new energy in, and that there's going to be in the middle of the month here where we don't know what's happening. Things are rolling out, changes occurring, and we don't know. So something that looks like it gives us a sense to celebrate and connect with our friends, which is great, because we need to do that. There may be some restriction on that because the devil then shows himself. So it might be mid-month before we start to see where the restrictions are in the information we're currently being given, right? So that steps from the world stage or from whatever you're watching or seeing in the mainstream, or hopefully it's wider than mainstream. But yeah, you might start to see where some of those restrictions are. But there's definitely things to celebrate mid-month, right? Even though we don't exactly know what's going on, but there is a change, and that'll also be the shift of energies too.
Yeah.
Which is good. So we'll be able to connect more. And the thing about the connection more, right, and the devil being right beside it, that might get a little addictive and a little beyond passionate, you might say. So it's like being mindful of those kinds of behaviors also, with them coming through. Looking at the next week, which is the third week, I feel like it slows down a little in terms of how we're connecting and what we're looking to accept emotionally. Because I feel like we're kind of really starting to weigh things up now and temper them out and go, is that actually part of my bigger journey? Am I proud of how I behaved, how I've responded emotionally? I feel like there's a bit of reflection that's occurring in that space. And really, and all the cups in that one row.
Yes,
right?
well, you've got the Two of Cups, Temperance, Star, and Five of Cups. So it is going to be quite an emotional
week. And like even the Star, she holds the two water bearers, right? Those containers or vessels where she's actually like tipping them out and like weighing things up. And the Star can be about our hopes and dreams, and Temperance can, oh, this is interesting. Temperance can very much be about, needing to temper things and be patient.
Yes.
But what is fascinating about these two, and I'll just show them up here, they're sitting in this order as I look at them. On the Temperance card in the Rider-Waite deck, you'll see the foot is in the water. One of the feet is in the water, right? And on the Star card, you'll see one is on the water. That is actually speaking to subconscious energy and conscious energy. So that is actually asking us to bring up some subconscious things and be aware of them. And what we're bringing up is the emotion, right? Or the parts where I could have maybe behaved better, or I wish that had have gone better. There's this bit of assessment looking at what we're being reminded here is to remember that everything happens for a fucking reason. So look around. There might be other things that you're able to pour your energy into, as opposed to looking what's lost. And we need to release what's no longer working. So by the time we're getting towards the end of the month, we are starting to do that release of the Yeah.
And with the Temperance and Star, and I really liked how you said about the reflection. And it's really interesting how both of them have the pool for the reflection.
Yeah.
And they're side by side, like you said. So it's really interesting. That was what stuck out to me, is the reflection and the emotions. And it's big emotions. It's big emotions. We can't dismiss these. They're big emotions that we need to get through. We need to deal with.
Absolutely need to look at. And a big part of the month, I feel, is how we're going to connect with others, or what is it we're allowing that connection to be, and how we want that to be. How do we want to show up in relationship? How do we want to show up just as ourselves? How do we partner ourselves, right?
And it's very much coming back to ourselves. Who are we?
Absolutely. Who are we?
We're taking off those masks of, I want to be somebody else. I'm discovering who I am.
Absolutely.
And being who I am.
Yeah, I feel like March has shown us a lot of stuff, right? As to what's going on, maybe behind scenes, and April is kind of like, well, I need to be dealing with that now. That's part of what I'm getting anyway. When I'm looking at the last week of the month, I have Judgment shown here. So Judgment, it can be karmic card, but it's also about like that reinvention of self. So I feel like it's come the end of April, we are all where we need to be. And what we've needed to be exposed to, we've been exposed to. What we've needed to share, we've shared. So the month is what the month is, right? So remember, you've had choice all the way along, and the choice has been, do I want to get involved in the argy-bargy in the first week? Do I want to get involved in, overindulging or the addiction side of myself that maybe I've been working on?
Exactly.
do I want to be a little bit controlling, or do I want to let that go? These are the choices,
Yeah.
right, that we've had. And come the third week, it's about how do I want to view what I've experienced, right? Do I want to look at it negatively, or do I want to look at it in a way that, oh yeah, that was really, I'm really glad that shit happened because this is what I've learned and grown from, right? These are your choices for the month. Because the last week we're looking at the karmic side or the judgment side, or the how we've now shown up and reinvented ourselves, and how we will, because the next card is a king. So it's like how we will. Have you completely exhausted yourself? Right, which is what that can be. And again, very
really
interesting,
isn't it?
I've got judgment as the last row, and on the very last card I have justice.
That's interesting.
That is very, very interesting. So to me, I feel that from a world view or world stage or whatever you want to say, I feel like it's going to take to the end of the month to actually see some karmic fallout, right? Good, bad, or otherwise. But I'm going to say that I feel like there's going to be some people on the stage that are going to topple. That's
if we start with the moon, that's about revealing hidden stuff that has been pushed and squashed. Now the moon is shining lights on things right at the start of the month.
Yeah.
And it might take the whole month for this to
get to. Yeah. So
justified.
that's what I feel. I feel like the month of April is about seeing some things topple.
Yeah.
And the things toppling also because we're starting brand new.
Yeah.
Right? We are starting absolutely brand new cycle. And then remember, as we go along, we've got these opportunities that come up and say, do you want to get involved in the drama? Do you want to get involved in the point of it, or do you choose to turn away from that? Does it need attention? Do you need to address it, right? And the only person who can answer that is yourself, because you know where you are on your own journey, right? So that's
go within. Go within and find your own answers.
Right? Completely trust yourself. So, you know, I just feel like this is kind of saying, if you come from a place of integrity, right, then things will go the way that is better for you, right? But some people can allow the emotion to take over them, and then they're not coming from that place of integrity. And then that's going to change where they're at.
Exactly. Right? They're not thinking straight either, are they? Because they're so worked up with that emotion. And they're just spewing literally, really, isn't it? Like that, the words that they probably would not normally express.
Yeah. So I find it interesting how we connect is going to be a big deal. Seeing some situations and some people topple, I think is going to be a big deal. Emotionally, I think we've got a lot going on, and there's definitely, like I said, mid-month, there's what we've seen. We're starting to not unsee it, but we're starting to see what's really gone on there.
See the big picture, aren't we?
See the bigger picture, but there's still some unknown come the middle of the month. So be prepared for change and be prepared to roll with it.
Exactly. And just do not, in a sense, don't make decisions straight away. Wait until you know more information.
Yeah, get all the information. Yeah, absolutely.
And get information from various sources.
Absolutely.
Not just mainstream or whatever.
Not just the
various sources.
First thing you see. Yeah. And I can't excited about the bottom piece. So anyway, we might see some wrongs righted.
We might see some karma come around.
Wrongs righted. And remember, karma can be like really, really positive too. Someone might get that really, really good karma. The reason that I've in this situation gone the other way is because of this fella here.
Exactly.
He's actually speaking about, there is something has to die, literally.
Yes.
Before we can get that justice. Forward. So something literally has to.
And it's interesting because you talked about this card, but you have 3 cards with the black on them. Yeah. So it really is deep, isn't it?
It is deep, and it's dark, right?
It's dark.
So, and I just feel that can be the unseen.
Yes.
Right. And what you're unaware of. So if you are aware of your addictions and your controlling and your mental health, that's a big thing too. Right? That's a big thing this month, right? Then we don't want to buy into the stories that we once told ourselves, right? Like, how is this really?
Yes.
How is this really? And how do you know that's true? And what did you make that mean? Like, I love asking those questions.
Yes.
You know, it helps so much. Yeah,
Yes.
so there you
It's
go.
gonna be a big month by the looks of it.
Big month. So we hope that you have enjoyed that from both of us.
Yes.
Very different. One is a little more personal and the other is a
Exactly.
little more
Worldwide, isn't it?
world stage. Just
Yeah.
funny how that
It
rolls.
is, it very
But
much
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Very
you
much
get
is.
both sides of the coin in
Yes.
the house. So we hope you've enjoyed that. And that is the month of
Month of
April.
April. So thank you very much for watching, listening.
Sharing, liking,
Supporting.
subscribing, all the things from our heart to yours. Catch you
See
next
you
time.
later.
Bye.